Spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Monday, October 13th, 2025 reveal that Leslie will issue a warning to June. The Monday, October 13th, 2025 episode teases a confrontation between Leslie and June. She delivers a stern warning to a character we've come to care about. Key points: Leslie warns June. Danny suspects Naomi may be hiding something from her, and she's right. Nicole and Vanessa are squaring off. Darnell receives a tempting offer. Chenise uncovers two pieces of information that Ted Richardson isn't the first man to turn a woman's heart into a battlefield, but this time he becomes the center of an underground war he never anticipated. Leslie, who always projects control, doesn't just love eating at Orphe Jean's. She's long been accustomed to turning ordinary spaces into her private territory. When June, sharp, striking, and resolute, unexpectedly took a job as a server at that restaurant, Leslie didn't think twice. Not until one afternoon when she noticed Ted's gaze lingering on June a few beats too long, and polite nods had started to morph into something ambiguously intimate. Leslie knew her instincts weren't wrong. No one, server or not, gets to look at Ted that way, at least not while Leslie still holds what remains of him. Leslie isn't someone who acts on impulse, but when she's angry, she's ruthlessly calculated. Handing Ted's tie to Nicole wasn't merely a counterpunch. It was a warning shot that Leslie can bench anyone from the game, even a former legal wife. To Leslie, June, who listened sympathetically to Ted's laments about a crumbling marriage, wasn't compassion. She was a threat. So the warning wasn't a lapse in control, but a strategic opening move in a war Leslie is prepared to fight to the bitter end. The question isn't whether Leslie has the right to warn June. It's who would dare to stop her. That in Leslie's mind, everything she touches, dinner at Orphe Jean's, the man drifting from his wife, belongs to her. June may be just a server, but if she dares lay a hand on something Leslie hasn't let go of, that provocation makes it personal. And if Leslie chooses to attack head-on, it's because she knows exactly what she's aiming at. She knows June is not Nicole, who's easily manipulated by old tricks. June doesn't back down from intimidation, and that unsettles Leslie even more. June doesn't need to speak. Her calm, almost arrogant gaze reads like a test. Will Leslie actually do anything? That quiet confidence pushes Leslie onto the defensive, a position she loathes. Leslie's fury isn't only about the possibility of losing Ted. It's also about facing, maybe for the first time, an opponent whose reactions she can't predict. June needs no scheming. Her composure is its own weapon. If Leslie once dismantled Nicole by making her feel defeated before the first move, June is a different breed. June doesn't fight by defending. She quietly draws her opponent into the danger zone and lets them hit their own limits. Heading into this clash, Leslie feels uneasy because her usual blows may no longer land. Ted, the man stuck in the middle, may not realize the storm gathering. He remains the gentleman, sharing sorrow with one woman, whispering regret to another, unaware that he has become the prize two women are targeting with opposite strategies. One side is Leslie, fierce, shrewd, relentless. The other is June, quiet, incisive, unflinching. That contrast may pull Ted deeper in rather than pushing him away. His attention to June may be accidental, but his eyes don't lie. And Leslie, wounded by Nicole and pricked in her pride, cannot bear the idea of Ted slipping into someone else's hands, especially someone who captivates him without even trying. If next week is when the showdown breaks open, the slow burn is about to ignite. No more teasing looks at the bar or half-jokes about who's seducing whom. Action is coming. Perhaps Leslie files a formal complaint against June at the restaurant, or Ted inadvertently shields June from Leslie's intimidation, which Leslie will take as betrayal. Once Leslie feels control slip, she'll stop playing by the rules. And if Ted won't draw a line, he'll become the spark that sets off a war between two women who refuse to lose. June isn't a victim. She's the unpredictable variable. That's exactly what unnerves Leslie. Not because June is stronger, but because she refuses to play by the rules. If Leslie believes she can run the board with emotion and strategy, this time her opponent won't be led by emotion at all. That stillness could be the thing that breaks Leslie. In this endgame, Ted isn't a king, he's a pawn being dragged along. One thing is certain. Neither woman intends to back down, even if the price is their own descent into misery. Meanwhile, Danny has never been easily fooled, especially with that razor-edged maternal instinct. Having given birth twice, she can read every tiny shift. Averted eyes, the heavy sighs that seem harmless but say everything. When Naomi, so close to her for so long, begins to show ambiguous signs, loss of appetite, fatigue, a faraway look, Danny knows something is wrong. Not an ordinary illness, but a quiet, seismic change. Something that can turn a woman's life inside out. This time, Danny is right, Naomi is pregnant. But unlike so many others, Naomi doesn't greet the news with joy. Instead, chaos, fear, worry, even a low, simmering anger. She doesn't say it, but her eyes betray her. Something deeper, darker than a routine pregnancy. A secret she needs to guard. What unsettles Danny isn't that Naomi hid the pregnancy. It's the decision Naomi is quietly moving toward, an abortion. For Danny, that hits like a blindside. She isn't judgmental, and she isn't the type to force anyone into a mold. But Naomi's refusal to trust her from the start, and the sense that she's moving against her own maternal instincts, makes Danny feel like a gulf has opened between them, too wide and too intimate to name. Gradually, the cut-off conversations, the canceled meetups, the little fragments of memory fall into place, and a larger, fractured picture emerges. Danny starts to wonder whether Naomi is hiding more than just a pregnancy. Meanwhile, Jacob, the increasingly helpless husband, drifts in the cold current of a marriage beyond saving. He watches Naomi retreat, watches his efforts get swatted away, and in a moment of desperation, does the only thing he believes might bring her back. He turns to Danny. No one knows Naomi like Danny. No one reads her faster. Maybe only Danny can help Naomi through this crisis. Maybe only Danny can change Naomi's mind before it's too late. That truth pushes Danny into a role she never wanted. Intermediary in someone else's marital collapse. She doesn't want to be dragged in, but her heart won't let her stand aside. Naomi is someone she loves. Jacob is someone she respects. But most of all, the unborn child, unacknowledged by anyone, remains the most innocent party, trapped between adult contradictions. Danny can't stay silent, nor can she force Naomi to keep a child she isn't ready to welcome. It isn't about right or wrong. Naomi stands at a fork between autonomy and responsibility, and either path will leave scars. When Naomi finally opens up, not with words, but with tearful, helpless eyes, Danny knows she must drop all judgment. Naomi is scared. Of losing herself, of being a bad mother, of being bound forever by a choice that no longer feels like hers. And beneath all that, Naomi longs to be understood. Not persuaded to keep the baby, but seen in the chaos tearing her apart. Danny, burdened with her own unresolved issues, becomes Naomi's safe harbor. Not with lectures or rigid advice, but with quiet presence, letting Naomi know she's not alone. Whatever Naomi decides, to keep or to let go, Danny won't abandon her. Life is never simple for women who carry too many roles at once. Mother, wife, friend, lover. Naomi stands in the storm. Danny can't stop the rain. But maybe having someone willing to stand in it with you, even in silence, is the first step toward getting through it. Their talk may not change the chessboard, but the moment Danny clasps Naomi's hand as she breaks down, it's proof. Hope isn't dead yet, and life, however fragile, always finds a way to push through the cracks. As the undertow at Fairmont Crest keeps churning, one of its sturdiest bonds begins to splinter, the friendship between Nicole and Vanessa. For longtime viewers, this is no small shock. They've been the emblem of friendship against all odds. One a high society icon, the other self-made, proud, and rising. They complemented each other, admired each other, and, most importantly, trusted each other. That now seems to be crumbling under the weight of clashing values and an unforgivable secret. Nicole has always treated Vanessa like family, never judging her by social status. If anything, Nicole quietly lifted Vanessa up, opening rare doors in elite circles without ever demanding gratitude. Her sincerity grew from a belief that Vanessa deserved a place in that world, not for pedigree, but for grit. That very trust becomes the blade twisting in Nicole's heart when what she learns about Vanessa conflicts with everything she believed. Vanessa not only lied about her marriage to Doug, who died not long ago, she is suspected of a murky entanglement with Joey, a magnet for scandal, right around the time Doug died. When news breaks of a secret trip Vanessa and Joey took on that fateful day, Nicole is struck down, less by her friend's betrayal than by the insult at the core of it. From the person she trusted most, Nicole prizes fidelity above all. Marriage is sacred, and betrayal cannot be excused by loneliness. Vanessa sees it differently. She refuses to let social morality chain private feeling. To her, if a marriage has died long ago in the heart, seeking joy elsewhere isn't a sin. To Nicole, that mindset is repugnant. Worse than Vanessa being with Joey is her lack of remorse, as if Doug wasn't worth mourning and the friendship wasn't worth preserving. What once lay beneath as a quiet philosophical split now rises as an unbridgeable divide. Their looks brim with suspicion, their words chill with distance. Nicole, ever the forgiver, can't find a reason to let this go. Not just for Doug's sake, but her own, as someone who trusted, defended, and loved Vanessa like kin. Inside Nicole, disappointment distills into anger. She feels used, like Vanessa never truly understood or valued what they had. Vanessa, instead of apologizing, withdraws, masking the terror of being ostracized with pride. No one speaks. No one makes peace. They let the gap widen. Not with shouting, but with silence, the cruelest language between former intimates. Will Nicole confront Vanessa? Will she expose the trip with Joey to reclaim justice for Doug, or for herself? Or will she quietly step back, accept that not all bonds endure? And if the friendship shatters, will Vanessa have the courage to accept blame, or will she protect the new love she's nurturing, no matter the judgment? Their friendship once helped viewers believe in female sincerity. Now, under the glare of betrayal and diverging values, it teeters on collapse, not for lack of love, but because trust has fallen apart. And when trust dies, sometimes friendship can't survive. Vanessa is also tormented by Darnell. It seems her son with Doug is considering staying. Darnell never imagined his temporary stop at Fairmont Crest would become the turning point of his life. At first, it was just a layover, a suffocating power center where every move is watched and everyone wears a second face. He didn't come for status or romance, but for a truth buried too long: the suspicious death of the father he loved. Darnell's quiet investigation is a solitary road where testimonies contradict and witnesses blur. Just as the threads begin to tighten, a surprising offer appears, as if fate wants to test how far he'll go for the truth. The offer, made without fanfare, is magnetic. A long-term, stable position at Fairmont Crest. Not just housing, but influence, a post that could pull him deeper into the power grid. It could mean foregoing his return to university, maybe transferring to a nearby school if he wants to keep studying. Beneath that, it means a larger decision, abandoning his old life and stepping into the center of a complex web where he'll no longer be an outsider. Darnell hesitates not because the offer isn't good, but because of what it implies. Is it tied to his investigation? Jacob Hawthorne, one of the most powerful figures at Fairmont Crest, suddenly agreeing to meet in private and discuss the final moments of Darnell's father can't be coincidence. Jacob does nothing without a reason. The brief meeting leaves Darnell uneasy. He isn't just a truth seeker anymore. He's a piece on someone else's board. The offer may be the next move. If he accepts, he'll stay in the place that swallowed his father. If he declines, the door to final answers may slam shut. Darnell knows his father's death wasn't an accident. There are too many gaps, too many lies lacquered over by Fairmont Crest's glossy facade. If the truth is here, staying isn't a choice. It's a duty. But duty has a price, and that price may be the most fragile bond he has left. With his mother, Vanessa. Vanessa lost Doug. Now she risks losing Darnell. Watching her son dive into a dangerous probe, especially when it brushes men like Jacob, is unbearable. She's fought and sacrificed too much to hold her family together. Darnell's decision to remain at Fairmont Crest isn't geographic. It's spiritual distance. A quiet declaration that he'll put truth above kinship, beyond the protection she tried to build after Doug's death. Vanessa may be strong, but at heart, she's a worried mother. Fairmont Crest isn't where Darnell becomes a man. It's where men in her life have been destroyed. She understands the seduction of power, how alluring offers turn principled men into puppets. Now she faces the worst, watching her son step into the very place that broke the man she loved. Their silence grows heavy with meaning. Darnell hasn't said the words, but Vanessa understands. She sees it in his eyes, the look of a man who has chosen his path despite the consequences. And it breaks her, not because he'll stay, but because she can't stop him. No one can. When a man is determined to find the truth, please don't matter. The question is no longer whether Darnell will stay at Fairmont Crest, but what he'll find if he does. The truth he seeks may save him or destroy him. Amid the gleaming buildings and social smiles, he'll have to learn to live in a place where nothing is real, except what's buried deepest. Finally, Chenise isn't one to keep quiet, but she knows that at Fairmont Crest, every word can become a double-edged knife. From her vantage, close enough to the power clans, far enough to avoid their games. She's learned to gather information delicately, as a defensive weapon. This time, what she gets isn't petty rumor or whispers behind doors. It's two pieces big enough to reshape the entire community if exposed, and both involve families splintering under lies. The first concerns an affair no one saw coming. Vanessa and Joey. Since Doug's death, Vanessa's eyes have turned unreadable, her movements more guarded. Chenise has her own way of reading people. Sudden disappearances, overlapping travel schedules, irregular financial entries from a trusted internal source at Fairmont Crest. Together they paint a hazy picture. Around the time Doug died, Vanessa wasn't as alone as she claimed. Joey was there, and they left the city together. That isn't just sensational gossip, it's dynamite. If Chenise exposes it, she won't only shatter Nicole and Vanessa's already teetering friendship. She could trigger a formal investigation if anyone suspects Doug's death wasn't natural. But if she stays silent, she betrays her own professional creed, the one she clings to in a world of veneers. Be honest about what the facts say. As she hesitates, a second piece drops. More dangerous still. The second concerns Naomi and Jacob, a couple buckling under brutal decisions. A source inside the local health system, where Chenise has ties, accidentally leaks a psychological note. Naomi sought counseling about an abortion, and Jacob isn't fully on board. Worse, a second physician asked to process the file has a murky professional record, and Naomi's secret scheduling without Jacob could expose her to accusations if the matter reaches medical ethics authorities. For Chenise, this isn't just family drama. It could jeopardize her own career if Naomi chooses to blame the leak on Chenise's network. Chenise now stands at a crossroads of duty, loyalty, and survival. If she makes both pieces public, she'll ignite twin explosions at Fairmont Crest. Enough to raise Vanessa's reputation, crush Nicole, and pull Naomi and Jacob into a serious ethics probe. If she keeps quiet, she betrays her work and risks letting people repeat mistakes in the dark. Part of her wants to go straight to Nicole, an old friend who once survived a brutal scandal at her side. But Nicole is no longer just a betrayed woman. She's a community power, and her fury could annihilate Vanessa, socially and personally. As for Naomi, Chenise once helped her through a postnatal complication. Now, if Chenise reveals anything, Naomi will disavow her, and Chenise could be dragged into lawsuits if Jacob traces the leak to Chenise's medical contacts. What Chenise doesn't expect is the shared nexus of both stories. Ted, the man weaving through all these recent headaches. He once worked with Naomi in a single-parent mentorship program. He comforted Vanessa after Doug's death when Joey briefly pulled back. And now he's edging back toward Nicole, carefully, step by step, as if trying to make up for lost years. Chenise realizes that choosing any side won't just hurt one person. It will trigger a chain reaction that could wreck Fairmont Crest's entire social ecosystem. If anyone learns she lit the match, her already fragile career is done, so Chenise does the only thing she can. She stays quiet. Not to bury the truth, but to wait. Watch. Wait for one of the players to make one more wrong move so she won't have to spark the blaze. Only stand nearby as it erupts. Because she knows one constant in this world. Truth doesn't stay buried. And when it rises, she'll know how to use it, to save herself or to end someone else. Chenise now stands at a crossroads of duty, loyalty, and survival. If she makes both pieces public, she'll ignite twin explosions at Fairmont Crest. Enough to raise Vanessa's reputation, crush Nicole, and pull Naomi and Jacob into a serious ethics probe. If she keeps quiet, she betrays her work and risks letting people repeat mistakes in the dark. Part of her wants to go straight to Nicole, an old friend who once survived a brutal scandal at her side. But Nicole is no longer just a betrayed woman. She's a community power, and her fury could annihilate Vanessa, socially and personally. As for Naomi, Chenise once helped her through a postnatal complication. Now, if Chenise reveals anything, Naomi will disavow her, and Chenise could be dragged into lawsuits if Jacob traces the leak to Chenise's medical contacts. What Chenise doesn't expect is the shared nexus of both stories. Ted, the man weaving through all these recent headaches. He once worked with Naomi in a single-parent mentorship program. He comforted Vanessa after Doug's death when Joey briefly pulled back. And now he's edging back toward Nicole, carefully, step by step, as if trying to make up for lost years. Chenise realizes that choosing any side won't just hurt one person. It will trigger a chain reaction that could wreck Fairmont Crest's entire social ecosystem. If anyone learns she lit the match, her already fragile career is done, so Chenise does the only thing she can. She stays quiet. Not to bury the truth, but to wait. Watch. Wait for one of the players to make one more wrong move so she won't have to spark the blaze. Only stand nearby as it erupts. Because she knows one constant in this world. Truth doesn't stay buried. And when it rises, she'll know how to use it, to save herself or to end someone else.